Okay. I hope you guys had a nice lunch. We have a random piece of information to share with you. It seems, we're not sure, that our YouTube live streaming has been blocked due to copyright infringement issues. Because apparently YouTube was playing in the background, but YouTube didn't like it. So they've blocked us for now. But we may be back in business, Jack.
Yeah, it's looking right.
So thank you for everyone's on the live stream. The millions of people who are following us, of course. So, without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce this wonderful panel. You can read about their very impressive bios and connections to insulin via guidebook and also on the website. So I'm not going to go into all their very impressive credentials, but I do have some random facts to share about each of the people here. So we'll start with Chris, and his random fact is that he's had type 1 diabetes for 21 years, so his diabetes is old enough to drink. Warren is the father of a daughter living with type 1 diabetes, who used to work with me, and you can also ask Warren about his time at Woodstock. Jing, in his free time, is, I learned, a very impressive salsa dancer. So there may be some dancing this evening, so look out. And then, last but not least, Veronica. Also from BU. I should have said that with Warren as well. And Veronica, two facts about Veronica. She used to do judo, and she also, I understand, comes to school very efficiently on a scooter, but one of the ones that you pedal with. So very efficient and green. So these are our panelists. The rest are really So just I'm going to introduce a tiny little bit about the background of insulin, and then we're going to jump right in. So some of you may know who these guys are. Dancing and Best. The dog is actually called Marjorie. And this was the famous dog that they removed the pancreas from when they were learning about how insulin was made and what caused diabetes. So this is back in the 1920s. And Banting and Best, they had a lot of clinics. They witnessed a lot of suffering and death of children with type 1 diabetes. Basically, children would essentially starve and die. It was pretty depressing. And then, in 1922, they, after many years of working in this field, they seem to be on track for a revolutionary cure. This is some cutting from the time. And it really was a groundbreaking discovery, not dissimilar to the antiretrovirals that we've seen in the last couple of decades. You see the pictures on the left were children before they were given insulin, and the pictures on the right, obviously a few months after they were started to be treated. And before that, the diet or the treatment was mostly the starvation diet as well. So you stop giving children much to eat, so they wouldn't have high blood sugars, etc., etc. But we'll go into that. So just to sort of stark contrast, this is 1922. Famously, the same boy was the first boy, Leonard Thompson, to be treated with insulin, and that's him there with his mother. And this was groundbreaking. This was radical. This was a life-saving new treatment, like some of the treatments that you can think of that we see today. Now, this is today, more or less, over the last few years, and some of you will have seen this slide before. But those first two columns, this was before insulin was around. You're looking at the general life expectancy with the starvation diet. And then when insulin appeared in 1922, life expectancy went way up. And then from the International Insulin Foundation, some data in 2003 and 2007 in Nicaragua and Mozambique, the life expectancy of children living with type 1 diabetes post-diagnosis. So what you're seeing, obviously, is some of the survival rates are lower than they were almost 100 years ago. And why is that? A lot of it is to do with the fact that we still don't have access to insulin today, which is what we're going to talk about, and it's definitely not an issue that's been solved. So Chris. Yes, we can do a question and answer a little bit. How did you tell us a little bit about when you were diagnosed and the last 20 years in 2 minutes?
So my relationship with insulin has been kind of a love and hate relationship. It's been an easy relationship as well for the most part, because when I was diagnosed, it was 1995, I was 5 years old, and it was seemingly like any other process at the time. Like I thought every kid was going through. I went from recess one day and I felt a little sick, and I went into the hospital and they said, "Oh, your child has an elevated high blood glucose level." I was like, "Okay, well, this must happen to everyone." So I went to the doctor, and I did have high sugar readings, so I went directly into the hospital where I was then put on insulin treatment. It didn't seem like anything different than maybe like a kid that started soccer practice and then having to see the doctor.
Which insulins did they put you on?
Yeah, I was on human insulins at the time, so on MPH and R. Those insulins, this was in 1995, so that's a long ago. Those insulins required me to have a pretty strict diet of around 45 carbohydrates for every meal. The human insulin has a high activity in the middle of the day, so I needed to eat a little more at lunchtime to counteract the peak of insulin's activity in midday. And even within the last 15 to 20 years, I'm now on what's called analog insulin, which I don't have very strict diet restrictions anymore. I can see maybe using red light. Very privileged about it.
How much does your insulin cost today?
So with the health insurance that the university offers, the premium health insurance, which has a cost for 60 months if you go on that plan, I also pay around $120 a month for my insulin, and that's with the 90% reduced because of my insurance. So if I was paying out of pocket the same price, it would be over $400.
And just as a side note, how many times a day do you test your blood sugar?
Doctor, I test my blood sugar anywhere from 5 to 7 times a day. Just when I wake up, when I eat, when I exercise, just become natural.
And how much does each strip cost?
Each strip costs $1, so that's $7 a day every day for this.
So you're here and studying public health now. Where was the jump from having diabetes to thinking about other people having diabetes?
So when I used to work at a summer camp when I was younger, and the summer camp a lot of insulin that was donated at this camp. And at the end of the summer, a lot of my friends who didn't have health insurance for whatever reason were reliant on this camp for the donations that were given to them at the very end. So at the end of the camp, they would have all of these analog insulins that were donated from and they were reliant on that insulin for the rest of the year. So that was the first time that I saw, this is in California, outside of Los Angeles. And that was the first time where I saw, whoa, not everyone has insulin. How could that be? And then from there, I was traveling and working with IUDA, the Dominican Republic in Haiti, and I just came back from South Africa. It's rare to see someone who is actually using insulin regularly and appropriately. And it's now, that's why it's a love-hate relationship, because now I look at it, and it looks like a luxury item that not everyone has access to. So now that's fueling my kind of academic interest and hoping to figure out why that is the focus.
And do you want to share a little bit more about your experiences of work with diabetes?
Yeah, I mean, we work, IUDA, if you guys haven't heard, it's an NGO, it's an NBC, it's all of you understanding diabetes abroad. We work with local partners in other countries to help them develop education initiatives around using insulin. The idea is that a lack of education is just as dangerous as a lack of insulin. So if you have insulin, you should have used it correctly. When Mary and I and Allie and a few others were in Haiti a few years ago, working with a local foundation called FATMAC, that's one of the main insulin and diabetes education providers in all of Haiti. They're a wonderful organization. We're running a camp there where some of the campers came up to me and they were shocked that I was so tall because I had diabetes. But I've never seen someone who was on insulin that was able to be that tall. So,
I think, well, I mean, having worked in a number of different countries in Latin America, the first thing that you see is when there's other young people living with type 1 diabetes in a room, as Chris said, a lot of parents will come up and touch Chris or other people and be like, your eyesight is good, you're tall, you're strong, how is this possible? And then just seeing the difference that we saw those pictures before, in a couple of months, couple of weeks, of when people have actually proper, efficient access to a drug that's been around for 100 years, they're able to lead normal lives, and normal life expectancies, have children and go on like as they should and deserve. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. Lauren.
So as a professional academic, I have a bunch of slides. But just real quickly, our daughter was diagnosed when she was 19, which is late for type 1. She was really skinny. And, she went to the doctor, and she took a physical, and the doc said, Jesse, is anything else going on? She said, well, I'm peeing a lot, and I'm really thirsty all the time. So the doctor said, blood sugar was 300. So that was when she was 19. So I was interested in access to medicine before that, but now it's personal. Okay, so what I want to yeah, you can do this one. So there's a project that we have at Boston University. Veronica and myself, I want to thank Abhishek Sharma, who's here, and Heather Chappelle, and Dr. Eric Kolasek, who's at the Department of Statistics, to help out on this interesting project on access to insulin funded by, was it the first one? Oh, that's fine. The Helmsley Charitable Trust. And I won't talk about it, but Leona Helmsley gave $1 million to her dog, very famous, infamous lady who had lots of money in real estate. Apparently, one of her kids had type 1 diabetes. So I want to talk about the global view, because insulin is just one of many medicines that you can use as a lens to look at the dysfunctionalities of the R&D system, of the financing system, of the intellectual property system. That's not the first, but that's fine. Is there a map? There's a map. Right, so don't look at this too much, but this is a network map of global insulin. And the thicker the line, the more insulin is exported. This is retail insulin. I can't tell, we don't know what kind of insulin it is. Countries in red are net importers, and countries in yellow are net exporters of insulin. And basically, I think everybody knows, the global market is governed by three main companies, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, and Eli Lilly. And this is Brazil. And we have maps, we have social network maps of every year starting from 2004. And you can see the dynamics of the global insulin trade happening, but it's in roughly geographic order. So you can see Africa is still more or less out of the loop. That's all I'll say. Mexico is a net exporter. So what this project is, called the ACCIS project, is to try and figure out who makes this stuff besides the big three, because it's unusual that we don't really know. There are manufacturers in India called Biocon and Walmart, but beyond that, what kind of stuff? Who can make this stuff? It can be that hard to make. I don't know. It's a biologic, which is an issue. But what's happening? So this is just the beginning of what we hope to be shining a light on this global ecosystem. Anyway. Yeah, the previous one. So that's, never mind, we'll keep going. Because I just said that. It's dominated by Germany, Denmark, the United States, and France. Those are the major players in the global insulin market. Not surprisingly, I think. And this is just a bunch of numbers, and let's keep going. Classic academic. There are some countries in this global network that only have a single import link. These are what I would call the vulnerable countries. I don't know if you can see them. Botswana, Burundi, there's Cuba, Fiji, Gambia, and it goes on. This is every year. So this is a list of countries in which every year they're only getting it from one country. And you can't see the asterisks, but there's a bunch of asterisks, and these countries are only getting it from Denmark. And Azerbaijan, I had a look on a map, I apologize where that is. But of the 10 years, 7 of the 10 years, they're only getting it from Denmark. So these are really vulnerable to any disruptions in supply. I mean, these are not tiny countries. Some of them are islands, but Libya is on there. Palestinian territory. Anyway, there's an issue here. First of all, nobody knows whether the amount of insulin that's coming into these countries is sufficient to meet the demand. That's another interesting academic issue. I suspect it's not. We have some idea of how much, which countries and how much diabetes is in each country, but the epidemiologists and some of the other people will tell you those numbers are kind of funny. Plus the fact that the people who publish those numbers, the International Diabetes Federation, are funded in large part by the industry. 94% funded. So we've heard this before. This is not new. This happens to be a new kind of, quote, new med that people are thinking about. But we've gone through this. I think the last, this is probably one last slide, and you can help on this. So you can calculate what the price is of this imported insulin. It's not sold. This is stuff that gets to the customers and is at the border. I would expect it to be much cheaper than the insulin that's purchased in retail or in your outlets, in your pharmacy. And what this is a plot of the number of percentage of countries that have zero analog up to 70% analog. And over time, many countries have shifted from human insulin to analog insulin, as you might expect. So the blue dots are the high-income countries, and each dot is another year. So 1999 going to 2013, I think those are the right number of dots. So you can see that over time, the high-income countries have been shifting from human to analog, not unexpectedly. And this is the price for 10 mils, and Jane can tell me, I'm pretty sure that this is at least an order of magnitude less than the retail price in pharmacy for high-income countries. You can see for low-income countries with very little analog insulin, the price is less expensive. But I don't know how much insulin costs in some of these low-income countries. That's the next step to look at this. So that's sort of the the evolutive curve of pricing. And again, very cheap compared to what the retail prices are. I think not unexpected. All right, there's one last slide, and there's one after this which I'm not going to go over, but this is the total imports compared to India and China, two of the big BRIC countries. And you can certainly see that over the last 10 years, the value of insulin in China, which is those blue bars, is a lot less than the weight. And you and I can do the math, you can kind of figure out the unit price. And if you compare that to India, it's the opposite. The amount of insulin coming into India is sort of more expensive per unit weight. So for some reason, and I'm going to guess, India is buying analog insulin, not human insulin. And you can look at, you can actually do the price calculation, and insulin coming into India, of all countries in the world, who needs it? It's analog. Now, again, I don't know what's going on in country. They're probably making it for their own people, but any insulin coming into India is very expensive. Next slide, and then we'll skip that. That's too complicated, even for me. So I'm going to end, as Chris said, this is a real world impact. I asked Jessie to send me a PDF of her bill for scripts. Now, I'm not talking about devices, but that's a whole other thing, medical devices. Where you have an off-patent medicine stuck inside a device, and they keep patenting the device, and you drag the exclusivity of this off-patent medicine further on. It's evergreen device. You know that, but maybe not so much. She's paying $100 out of pocket for test strips. $400. So that's a month and a half, $99 out of pocket. There's a country like Argentina which gives people free 300 test strips a year. Unconscionable. So this has real world. Okay, we'll show again. So this real world impacts on people's lives. So I want to just impress upon you, as you know, this is a global issue. The global ecosystem is complicated. When you get out there in the real world, when you graduate from university, you can work in the private sector. Good for you. You know, you may be a stockholder. Go to a stockholder shareholders meeting. That's a lot of where the action has to start. You'll have stock options. Go to a meeting. Talk about some of this stuff. I think one last slide. I thought.
Hey everybody, my name is James. I'm a research fellow, but I'm also a board certified defense, so I have studies in defense. But I'm not an endocrinologist. My level of expertise is a little bit. Wow. Oh, can you hear me? I'm not an endocrinologist. But I study pharmaceutical policy, and I study medicine policy and pricing. And insulin has been a really great way for me to learn the esoteric nuances about how drugs are priced in the U.S. And if you can kind of get that level of understanding, I think it can definitely help you when you try to do advocacy. Sit down. Next slide. Some of you may be good friends with this person. Does anyone know who this is? Just raise your hand. Do you mind volunteering to who this is? Yeah, exactly. Ahmed. Yeah. Why is this person famous? Maybe infamous. So he got his roots from the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. He discovered he was HIV positive. The South African government was initially denying the existence of HIV as a cause of AIDS, and ultimately he was part of the treatment action group, which got the South African government to import cheaper generic antivirals from India, China, and Brazil. But they were sued by 39 pharmaceutical companies, mostly the West. So he was part of that defense of that lawsuit, the successful defense of that lawsuit. He was also quite instrumental in his activism. He refused to take his antiretrovirals even though he could afford them. until South African government had guaranteed that everyone else would have access to food. So he has been a huge inspiration of mine. Since meeting him back in 2006, I can kind of trace like the exact words that he said to me to some of the activist stuff that I did when I was med student at the University of Chicago, to where I am today, and where I'm sharing the work on insulin, because it's all interrelated. I think it's already. So, contrary to what you saw before, which is all type 1 diabetes, I'll talk a little bit about type 2 diabetes. The differences are not entirely clear to me, but essentially more kids are diagnosed with type 1. They're insulin dependent, which means if they don't have insulin, their life expectancy is very short. They die of diabetic ketoacidosis and diabetic coma. In contrast, type 2 diabetes is a disease of older people and tends to be associated with people who are more obese, have metabolic syndrome. They don't necessarily require insulin, but it is a very, very important medicine in the arsenal that we use to treat diabetes in the adult population. The most important of which are diet, exercise, and metformin. Yeah, so this is prevalent diabetes in the U.S. based on the CDC, 1994 to 2013, and you can see we're in the midst of a crazy diabetes epidemic. This is age-adjusted per 100 in the U.S. And like all interesting diseases, it's a disease that is more prevalent in the Southeast, which is where people are poor and more likely to die. I just thought this was an interesting ad. This is from 1982 from Lilly Archives. Matthew's 4 years old and he's injecting himself with a syringe of subcutaneous insulin. For those of you who don't know how insulin is administered, you can draw it up as a syringe out of a needle in a vial and just give yourself however many units you need on that particular day. It's usually 100 units of insulin per cc, so the syringe is So those are pre-filled insulin cartridges. Someone fills them before he buys them, and so you can just dial up a number of units you need, inject yourself. But back in the 80s, they didn't have that. You just pull it out of the vial and give it to yourself. It works perfectly well, and people do very well on this medication. The reason I brought this up was just to kind of introduce the topic, because Warren was going on the idea of human insulin versus analog insulin. I doubt very few of you actually know what that means. The reason it's called human insulin is because it's not taken from the pancreases of animals. It's recombinant human insulin made using recombinant DNA technology. You insert a plasmid into a bacteria or a yeast. They reproduce, and as they reproduce, they make insulin. So you can purify the insulin into a vial and sell it, or you can take that solution, put it into a pre-filled cartridge, and sell those pens. Which is what we do. So they've been doing that since the 1980s. And I thought it was very perfect. What Lily was right here in the arrow. What do we know is the future? But what we do know is that the future is likely to see all patients on human insulin. So they were correct in their, prophecy. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So focus on the left side. Animal insulin is at the bottom. No one uses animal insulin in this country. There might still be some animal insulins that are being used in places like Zimbabwe, but almost nobody uses it. There's nothing wrong with animal insulin. It worked really well for like 50 years. Okay? We started using human insulin, which is recombinant human insulin, which is what I just told you. But even then, since the 2000s, the rate of use of human insulin has been falling quite precipitously. And they're being replaced by the use of analog insulin. So what the heck is an analog insulin? Insulin is like a 32 amino acid polypeptide with 2 disulfide bonds. You can shove different amino acids or replace certain ones to change the characteristics of how it's absorbed. So you can change the duration of action, how quickly the uptake happens by making these modifications. And any of those modified insulins are called analog insulins. They're not exact replicas of human insulin. They work just the same. And there's very, very little comparative evidence that they're any better than human insulin.
I disagree. It works better, but we'll talk about that.
There's very, very little evidence from comparative studies which show that
It's all fake, baby.
The slide on the right shows how much median out-of-pocket costs have been kind of rising, and I would say that this approximates Chris's experience, right? $40 out of pocket, which is where the end of that slide is. This is work from Cassie Lipska and Joe Ross at Yale, which got me interested in the different technology, which is the next slide. Not the next slide, sorry. Couple slides. No, go back to that. Or look at the video. So I didn't want this to be a one-sided perspective, so here's an industry perspective about access to insulin. Eli Lilly is based out of Indianapolis. They got their big start because of advancing investment in industry. It's a pretty long story, but you can read about the history. They're one of the largest producers of insulin.
Osteoporosis and
I
shot.
have diabetes and heart disease, and I had 2 stents put in and 2 angioplasties.
When I found out that I had diabetes, I was worried because I never experienced anything like that
I
before.
couldn't accept the fact that it was me, that this was happening.
I lost my job, I got laid off, and I lost my insurance.
Here pays some of my premium, but I have to pay a lot of it myself.
I was very concerned that we would end up having to go through
I was
savings.
very much concerned about the cost of it, with the other medicines I have to take.
$2,000 a month. Yeah, just a month. And there's no way that I can afford that.
TrueAssist is an umbrella program that houses about 5 or 6 programs. Lilly Cares is our largest program. About 90% of our volume and value goes through Lilly Cares. And over the last 5 years, we have helped more than 1 million patients. The value of that product over those 5 years is a little over $2 billion.
My doctor told me about TrueAssist. They sent me an application to fill out. I got a response back where I was accepted for the program, and everything would be free. I mean, free. I couldn't believe it.
I think working on the patient assistance programs is a tremendous feeling. Knowing that we're able to give that medication to somebody who really needs it, and that they're going to get the treatment they need.
For Lilly, they devote resources to the discovery, to the development of these medications. And what a wonderful opportunity to be able to provide them free of charge to those customers and patients that sincerely need them.
The Lilly TrueAssist program covers a large variety of patients. They're not just helping one small group, they're helping a large range of population in the United States.
We make a difference in patients' lives every day, whether it's rushing out medication to a family who ran out of insulin, inadvertently and they're completely out, or whether it's somebody who was just newly diagnosed and just realized, I need this medication and I can't afford it.
Prior to really taking this role, I did not realize the depth of philanthropy that was really taking place through our patient assistance program. So every opportunity I or the team have, we want to share that message with Lilly employees because we should all be really proud.
I think it's 100% true that Lilly cares. They make it a point to care enough to say, I know some people may not be able to afford this medication. Let's see what we can do to help.
I was very much surprised when we did.
What's that? So, as a clinician, I'm interested in how to get my patients the best care possible. To me, it doesn't really matter so much as a doctor whether it's free medicine or if it's cheaply obtained generic medicine. I think it's more important how efficient our systems are in getting the right medicines to the right people. If the free market solution is good, then let it work. But if there's a more efficient system, I'm all for it as well. I think what Lilly cares and what the video you just saw is kind of their attempt at showing how they, as a company, can try to improve access the way we think about access. But they also think about access in a little different way, which is more about how to improve the availability of insulin, how to segment the market so that they can charge basically very high prices, almost considering insulin as a luxury good. And then for the people who can't afford that price, if you can't afford my iPhone, it looks to be free. That's kind of the pharmaceutical model for access. And I personally think that's a little bit inefficient because it doesn't work for, I don't think it's going to work for a disease where, several million or tens of millions of people are going to be medicine. You just can't donate that much. I think the other things that we can substitute that competition. So I'll talk a little bit about that. This is work that we published recently, looking at the price of insulin using kind of a proxy measure. We took state Medicaid data. Medicaid is the health insurance program that pays for the poor and disabled. It's federally, it's split almost half-half between federal and state governments. But they have pretty good data because they've required any manufacturer who wants their drugs to be reimbursed by Medicaid those manufacturers have to form an agreement with the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services, which gives them a discount on prescription medicines. So they get a rebate off the medicines. And as part of this data collection and running this rebate program, they have fairly good data going back to as early as the 80s, but I'm just showing data from the 90s about insulin. So this is 16 different types of insulin. It's all classes from rapid-acting analogs to regular human insulin and intermediate insulin, which are human insulin as well. And we did a really simple calculation where we tracked the reimbursement that had been happening for insulin. This is what Medicaid paid pharmacies for these same insulin products since 1991. Adjusted for inflation, as you can see, the price of insulin is skyrocketing on a per unit basis, adjusted for inflation. These are not new products. This isn't the newest, latest pen. This is the same old insulin that's been on for a very long time. And I don't have a good explanation for why this is happening based on the data that we have available. The only thing I can posit is that perhaps the market for insulin is not very competitive. And in fact, data here kind of looks like they're running the market price out with the way it's planning to be. Yes. So this is just a summary, basically. If you look at someone who needs 40 units of insulin a day, the cost that it would take that Medicaid paying for insulin is about 3.5% since the early 90s for the exact same insulin, even after adjusting for inflation. If you don't look at inflation, the numbers are probably still like 2,000%. And then as a follow-on, we did a paper that was published in Anti-Diabetes looking at intellectual property and market cities, for instance, in 2004 and 2014, just in the US alone. And the point of the slide is just like kind of in the middle when we talk about the classification of different insulin patents. And in 2004, most of the patents that were still valid were really either to the active ingredient, which is insulin, or not, which is the molecule itself, or the formulation, which is insulin. It's complicated, but if you just put it in different or the things that you add to it can change the solubility or the amount of time you can stay out of the refrigeration. But then by 2014, many of the insulin patents that are still valid today are basically patents for the devices. These are the people pens, the needle, the turning knobs, the fact that they're not can go backwards as well as forwards. The patents are all of this stuff. And all it does really is really competition. I'm not even sure why they do it because there is material. Only the big three make it. 100% of the domestic supply in the U.S. is controlled by the big three. Like all. So I'm not sure why people aren't making this. It's huge mystery to me. So this is just a counter to the Lilly Cares video you just saw. They say that they donated something like $2 billion worth of insulin. But if you look at their 6-month SEC filings, this is quarterly filings from the most recent period that's available. The first and fourth row are both insulin products. Humalog is a rapid-acting analog insulin. They sold $1.3 billion of that. And for Humulin, which is a human insulin, it was 0.6 billion. So $2 billion in just 6 months alone of revenue was spent, but it was made from the sale of distance products. So this is their gross margin, 75%. I have no idea what gross margin percentage means, so I looked it up on Wikipedia. But this is quite it's basically the amount you're able to, it's your revenue minus your cost divided by your revenue. So you can think of it almost like a markup, and there's a way to calculate from the gross margin to the markup, because the percent markup here is about 300%.
So the prices from the company will be consumers or what it costs them how much
Is that a comment or a question? Yeah, what's the question?
Sorry, as a margin, the company's cost minus at what company is selling it immediately or
This is revenue minus cost over revenue. Reported by Lilly. I'm not calculating. This is straight up. This is a snapshot of their SEC company. Their reporting. So the market's about 300%. So comparatively in other industries, if you look at oil, it's about 37% for their gross margin. And Apple, which really people think of it as a high value product where you're adding a lot of services, so their gross margin is about 39%. When you compare that to someone like myself, a researcher, I'm not negative. The point is, if you want to make a lot of money, Lilly is a great place to invest. But if you want to make a difference in the world, or make sustainable differences in a way that's beyond just pure donation programs, I think we have to really think clearly about how we incentivize true generic competition in the insulin market and those big places.
I'm an associate professor at Boston University School of Public Health, and I would like to put this, what we just heard, particularly about the US context, into the global context. By starting to give an overview of the Sustainable Development Goals and universal health coverage, trying to say that we have now set a global agenda and we have an opportunity to tie advocacy and access to essential medicines into a broader framework. And I would like to highlight some global, some comprehensive strategies to ensure sustainable access, and then focus on one part of these comprehensive strategies by highlighting examples of ongoing research related to affordability and availability of insulin, tying it back to a project that Warren and Kathleen already mentioned, the Access Project. And then at the end, I would like to make a point of the need for performance measurement, how important it is, and how important I think it is for you in your work on advocacy in terms of access to medicine. This, I think, is something very exciting to see the UN adopting the Sustainable Development Goals, and within the Sustainable Development Goals, finding a goal that points directly to health and points directly to something you might deeply care about, which is access to medicines. There are two goals, or two sub-goals, if you want, tied to goal number 3. One is the goal 3.B that says support for research and development of vaccine and medicines is essential for achieving health for all. And the next one is related to access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable essential medicines and vaccines for all within universal health coverage. This is the sub-goal 3.8 within goal number 3. So now the UN adopting these goals mean we have a global commitment to access to essential medicines. And what does universal health coverage stand for? It stands for ensuring that all people obtain the health services they need without suffering financial hardship when paying
So that means, in terms of medicines, in terms of essential medicines, that we need comprehensive strategies. Much of the dialogue, much of the things we have talked about, were kind of tied to one or the other of these lists of 6 comprehensive strategies. I would like to, when we go into advocacy, take it into consideration that they are interlinked. So if we emphasize, if we focus on one, let's not forget about the others and how important they are. I would just like to highlight or take an example from the insulin world. So if Chris, for instance, did not have a doctor that would be able to diagnose diabetes at the age of 5, or not making a right decision on what insulin and how to prescribe it and how to advise Chris, he might have had adverse events, he might have had long hospitalization, etc. And this is tied into effective and safe use of medicine. So if we are doing advocacy on the access agenda, having insulin available, having it affordable, making it available, then that needs also to be in a system, in an ecosystem, to use Warren's terminology, in which you have other strategies working as well in line to improve health. And I would call these sustainable, because all need to work together to have something sustainable access to all. Now I would like to follow the invitation of the organization committee, focusing in on ongoing research that Lauren already mentioned, which is the Access Project. It is a project on the constraints of supply of insulin. And within that project, we looked at the broader context of the global insulin market and saying, who is actually providing insulin? Jim was talking very much about the US context. What we have done and what we propose to do for this Access project is taking a look at the global insulin market, looking at who is producing insulin apart from the 3 major companies that we know are producing insulin, to get a better sense of how many manufacturers are actually registering and selling their product in different countries. Here I'm putting up a map in which you can see the number of manufacturers registering and selling their product in different countries. And you can see that there are some countries in which you have around 3, US, European countries particularly, also Venezuela, Japan. And then you have countries that stand out, which are here in color dark, over 8 manufacturers. And I'm just putting up some examples like Russia, China, India, Mexico. When we now take off the 3 main manufacturers that we know, which is Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, and Lilly, looking at the same map, what do we see? We see that some countries actually do not have any other than the main manufacturers of insulin providing insulin and registering their products within the country. So these are, for instance, the US, as Jim already rightly pointed out, and saying in the US only the 3 main manufacturers are registering and selling their products. But we have also other countries where we see more manufacturers, and we are particularly interested to learn about these manufacturers. Who are they? How much insulin they are producing? Whom are they selling these products? And as this is an ongoing research, we are just in the phase of now visiting these manufacturers and wanting to find out. So what is their capacity? Could that potentially export their insulin product to other countries? Is actually in these countries where we see, let's say, up to 6 or more than 6 manufacturers, is insulin there more affordable? Is it true that when you have an ecosystem, where you have a market, where you have more suppliers, actually prices would be lower as we so that's something to be seen, to be tested. So we have now talked in the previous talk a lot about industry and perspective. I would like to flip this and look at the demand side if we want to see the payers, those who insurers, public, the Ministry of Health, Social Security, if you kind of want to see them as like the ones who demand for their, let's say, beneficiaries, or maybe even in the household. But let's focus for the moment on governments and public payers. So they usually assign a priority to medicine. They say some medicines are for us more important of saying, we will finance these medicines for the population. And so we did a review of essential medicine lists from the middle-income countries to find out, is it actually true that public payers pay particularly attention to insulin? Do they include insulin in an essential medicine list? And what we find is that actually the insulins that are recommended by the modelists, the World Health Organization modelists, are actually by and large included in those essential medicines. When we look at the short-acting and the medium-acting insulin, this is a type of insulin that the World Health Organization says should be an insulin that should be prioritized. And actually it's true. It seems to be that public payers and insurances do a good job here saying this is a priority. In other words, listing something like these two insulins on their essential medicines is not necessarily the barrier for access. What is the barrier for access? I just want to focus on one item that could be a barrier. When you look at procurement practices, which is the practice of buying in large quantities insulin in insurers or in public ministries of health or social security, they buy insulin in large quantities, negotiate a price or have a tenure, and then buy this for their beneficiaries. So we focus on what their procurement practices are and are they actually efficient, as efficient as they could be. We find that this is not necessarily the case. Here you see Kyrgyzstan is just an example, where Kyrgyzstan is actually investing a lot of money into non-recommended insulins, I would say. Those insulins that the WHO says not necessarily are essential. So they are buying, as you said, 57%. They're investing of their small resources into these insulins and saying, instead we are buying these ones and not necessarily the ones recommended by the WHO. If they would buy, this is just a calculation on the back of an envelope saying if they would buy those insulins that are actually recommended, they would save, as you can see here, $740,000. So that's something that I think we also need to discuss when we talk about making medicines available. It's not only the industry we are focusing on, we are focusing also on, let's say, those who provide insulin, for instance, governments and insurers, and what their capacity is in order to do an efficient job. And then at the end, I wanted to highlight a point which is particularly important coming from a research perspective, but also from, I think, universities allied to essential medicine, who could that be a priority, focusing on what data do we actually have available for advocacy and making a point about how much we made progress. So I'm focusing here on the performance monitoring and what the health organization together with the World Bank came out in June this year with their first report on progress on universal health coverage and saying, let's look at what data do we have available to tell us something about how well we are doing in terms of access to medicines. Access to medicines in a very interesting light. Let's look at what we call effective coverage. Let's not just say how many people are covered. Let's say how many people are actually getting the medicines that they need. And what we can see here on the slide is 10 countries in which you see the percentage of people that are, at the moment they are surveyed, diagnosed with diabetes or kind of confirmed diagnosed with diabetes. But actually what you see is that many of those that then at the time of the survey, once they're diagnosed with diabetes, were unaware of having diabetes. So this is a part of the bar that is dark blue. For some countries, it's up to 80%. So a lot of people actually be not aware that they have diabetes. And for me, that's always a call of saying, having the medicines available, making them affordable, efficiently using them is only part of what we actually want to achieve in improving health, which is also having, for instance, of a diagnosis in place, which means we need to have systems in place that actually promote access to essential medicines. So I see the universal health coverage as an opportunity to embrace and ensure sustainable access to insulin and medicines in general. For that, we need three conditions. One is obviously the financing, another is the comprehensive medicine strategy, so it's not only one of the many, and also the importance of evaluation of performance and what it can be shown
15 minutes past time tonight, like the whole day. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's on the panel. I'm going to open up just for like maybe two short questions or three short questions so that we don't fall too far behind. But one thing I think to bring it back to universities a little bit as well, that we didn't mention is that when Anthony Best was given the Nobel Prize, they had already sold the patent to the University of Toronto in 1942. So possibly if UAM had existed back then, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. Are there any questions that we're going to take?
So my question is kind of about like the Lilly Cares commercial, and then you were saying like as individual healthcare providers, our responsibility is to care that one patient in front of us, which maybe a program like that might actually help the patient. But I think also a lot of us probably feel uncomfortable with programs like that because they like perpetuate the current system as it is and kind of justify the high prices. So as providers, how do we kind of negotiate between those two things?
Yeah, because it's how, I mean, when I see the guy in front of him who needs his insulin, I'm like, yeah, you can't afford it, let's call it really. And that's a pragmatic choice. But at the same time, we do understand that it's not a sustainable choice. But it doesn't really provide insulin for millions of people who need them. I think it's part of the market, it's market segmentation. It's pure pricing. Just charge very high prices for the people who can afford it, and for the people who can't just get it for free. There's sustained reliance on that producer or that particular manufacturer, and it doesn't really empower people. If you look at the photo that's put up of Dr. Ahmed, he's holding antiretrovirals produced by Aspen Pharmaceuticals, which is a generic pharmaceutical company in South Africa. That is a type of people in poor countries, in South Africa, but people in low-income countries who are able to make such themselves. That to me seems to be a more efficient solution than just giving away insulin to people who make less sense or whatever it happens to be in the state. But you gotta do.
So hypothetically, there was a young person available. Are there regulations in the U.S.
I think, from my perspective, we should not get too much focused on it's because we have only 3 manufacturers that sell it in the United States. My question would be, should there not be policy instruments, should there not be strategies that would make it possible, for instance, for Medicare to negotiate prices? We have a system in place at the moment in the United States that prohibits, that forbids any price negotiation of the largest payers for medicines, the funded payer for medicines in the United States. So should we not start with that? I think that would be something which would be immediate at hand and wouldn't take a lot of time to change very quickly. But I'm interested in maybe other panel members have a quick, another quick immediate strategy at hand. I think that comes to mind when I'm here Medicaid and buying medicines.
I'm not trying to defend your question. If there was hypothetically generic insulin, your question is why you don't import generic insulin from India, for example. Yeah, I mean, they're not approved for sale in the U.S. All drugs for sale that are approved by the FDA have to go through an abbreviated drug application process. It's a $70,000 initial application fee, there needs to be a queue. It would have to be a special exception for those drugs.
You probably know that most of, a lot of patents for insulins are disappearing. Cliff patent cliff, as it's called, it started last year. It's going to go on for another year or so, and one of these medicines are going to be low patent. Actually, my suspicion is the reason why the price is going up so dramatically is these guys know the patent life is cracking out, or excuse my language, and want to get as much as they can. But patents are disappearing. Nonetheless, well, anyway, so the answer is it's possible. And don't ask me why more people are making insulin. I mean, that's part of what we're trying to do.
The retail price would be $400 for that box in the States. Here. That's
Okay. Dave and Jamie and then Billy. Jamie?
Yeah, thank you. I was just going to listen to the presentation. Explaining the role of the solution of having companies with their management, including contractors, average, this is an area that a number of people are using this.
Well, I'm sure not a comment. But I've heard the word cartel mentioned a couple of times, and I am a lawyer, and I'm thinking that maybe there's an antitrust issue or something to look at, really. So that may suggest solutions if we're looking at the context of competition and antitrust. That's as much as I know really about it. But it seems taking things over in my
If and when it becomes cost effective for a patient to travel to the left to get medicine from another country, even if it's out of pocket, like cheaper, we're very huge. How does that affect the market? How does that affect political still in these stories that are having to be publicized with a yes no style? Just to prove how ridiculous it is. What your
I want to lose Washington because they can't
does that embarrass the company? So
They may lose 5% or whatever percentage people to the country, but for the majority, that is not
I'm just worried because I don't want to keep going. There's another question. Most of these wonderful individuals are going to be around all of the rest of the day this evening. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just don't. I want to respect.
So we need to learn much more from the representing here for us to all the reaching parties. For us to say the solution to next year and improvement and next year better, we want to see ourselves as not the real solution. I just want to say AMD was a company, there were three companies that were leading on importing a 12-year GDP for being a biology, 40% of the world. Why companies had to invest in the future forces heavily? They said, we are really interested in the country. Our goal is to create a global norm for the ecological competition. So we need to start connecting the dots, get more invested in the solutions, but also connect these to what is going on in the political way.
So we have two breakout sessions next. We have, the first is in room 129. This is some recent lessons from coming up the keys at Johns Hopkins University. The James University truck was developed at Johns Hopkins, and they were lobbying on campus to have open access licensing. So you can get updated on that current campaign. That's in room 129. And the second option. Thank you. Yes, so the first, there are two options for the next session. There's the first one, which is in room 129. That's going to be going over the current campaign that's happening at Johns Hopkins University in regards to the tuberculosis medication that was discovered there, and the licensing agreements in regards to having open access licensing on campus. So we're going to see an update from an active UAM campaign happening locally at Johns Hopkins. That's the first option. The second one is in room 311 with Marcelino from the Patriarchy tribe, talking about healing plants, traditional foods, and alternatives to medicine. That is in room 311, which is on the third floor of this building. And those are starting right now. So, have fun.